So, new year, slightly different me. I guess I want to go over some of the things I've been reflecting on. Some of those things are relationships that I had a lot of value in and appreciation for. A lot of those are gone now, but I did appreciate them when I had them. Um, I've had some friends who showed that they aren't who I thought they were. Other ones who the relationship dynamic has just changed over time, which is that happens. Um, where somewhere I felt like I committed too much energy just checking in, seeing how they're doing, and there wasn't a reciprocal thing. And I addressed it to them. I expressed how I felt, and that way I gave them an opportunity to change the way that they were acting, but they didn't. So I had to let that go. So yeah, I've had a few relationships. Oh, and then a friendship that ended just because um, I expressed, and it wasn't even to them. I guess my viewpoints on being gender fluid, stuff like that, and it was offensive to them. And yeah, I mean, they took it real personal. I posted something on Facebook, and they felt they had to delete me. So I get it, but it just leads me into other things that I was thinking about. So I've set boundaries a while ago with my mom about political topics. We just can't talk about politics. I told her because I'm somebody who, I mean it when I say we can have different opinions. Like I can be friends with you and you think differently than I do. Now it depends on the things that we think differently on. Some things are non-negotiable, but there's plenty of things where it's like, yeah, okay, you see it different, but that's fine because we're different. People are different, and it gives you an opportunity to explore different thoughts that you wouldn't have otherwise because it's not an echo chamber. You get to see where somebody's coming from. And most people, if I ask you, is it cool for somebody to have a different opinion? Everybody's gonna say yeah, because nobody wants to admit that they're not cool with it. But the majority of people are not cool with you having a different opinion. So everyone says yeah because they don't want to sound like an asshole, and it's like majority of you are not cool with people having different opinions. And when you can tell whether somebody, like, the proof is in the pudding, is when something like politics is talked about and that person starts attacking you, or religious ideologies, whatever, and the person attacks you and throws insults because you don't agree with them. It's like, if you're calling me an idiot or like a more whatever, it's like you're not cool with people having a different opinion. Um, which leads me into a question that I ask all the time now to people because I just like to see what their answer is, especially couples. Is how important do you think it is that the person that you're in a relationship with, that you and that person have similar or the same values, like 90% of them, and most people say I think it's very important, and I'm in the strong belief that it's not that important. And here's why I say that. So I've set boundaries with my mom, I've set boundaries with my girlfriend as far as things that we can talk about and that we can't talk about, because both of them, certain topics, if we get into it, I have no problem going down a rabbit hole with somebody. But they'll call me, my girlfriend can be like a little disgusted with me with some of my beliefs and thoughts on things, and I get it. I get it. Um, and that's why I tell her, like, babe, don't ask me my opinion on a clip of a podcast because I know you're not gonna like my answer, and that's it. And I know a lot of people are thinking, yeah, but if you can't talk to the person in your relationship about things, then what is that? It's what's important to you. Because what's important to me is like that I'm happy with my time. So if I'm with the person that's making me happy, everything else in the world, every day, 90, we're just happy. It's good. But then there's a conversation or a topic that if we talk about it just destroys the vibe, then that just means that, yeah, we can't have an interesting conversation about something that would be cool to have a debate about it. But I have other friends or other avenues of people if I want to dive into that conversation and get analytical. So to me, that part isn't as important. And it's like, it's of course it's fun when you can grow with the person that you're with across the board. But I don't need another intellectual match when it comes to topics from my girlfriend. I don't need that. I just need somebody that I'm happy with what the majority of my time, because that's where the majority of my time is going to be spent, is side by side with that person. So to me, happiness, like, that's where my value is. And um, even with my mom, I made the point to her, and she got it. She understands now. It's like, because she thinks that it's important that you guys think along the same lines and have the same values. And I told her, well, I'm your son. And if I wasn't your son, this relationship would have ended a long time ago just because of how you react to certain conversations that we have. Like, she gets hateful of me. And I'm like, but you know what? Because I love you because you're my mom and who you are to me. It's like, I don't react to insults and things like that because the bigger picture is who she is to me. So in those situations in the past, I've just given her a hug and left. Like, I love you, but I gotta be out. And that's how I handle that. But now I don't even let it get to that point because I just told her, set the boundaries. We're not going to have these conversations. Don't ask me how I feel about any presidents or anything like that, any politics. We're not going to do that. And it's a much better relationship. So yeah, it's just funny because I now I don't spend any time like hanging out with people really. So my one boy Hemsley, he comes over and he'll help me out or we'll chill. But yeah, it's funny. It's just funny where I am as far as friendships go, and it's fine because I always find the silver lining and the beauty in a situation that would otherwise seem like it's bad. It's like I'm now in a season of growth, reflection, working on projects that really require a lot of attention, and I have nothing but time, and I'm learning new things. So it's fun. But I to the people who have active, great friendships and relationships, that's awesome, and you should be joyful of those. I don't have I don't have a lot of those right now, and that's fine because that season of mine has passed. It's like I don't have a lot of friends where we can have a good intellectual debate or conversation about things and see where it goes. Uh, because to me, a friendship requires a lot of attention, a lot of love. Because other than that, they're just if it's not that, then they're just acquaintances. They're people who you say hey to and you're cool when you share time with them. But it's like, no, a real friendship to me is like there's love in that, and and attention. The same with the person that you're in a relationship with. It's the same thing. It requires a certain level of commitment on your end. So by not having a lot of friendships, it's fine because that's a lot of energy that I get to preserve. And if down the road, uh, I find people that are more like-minded, and I'd gain a new friend, cool. But I'm not searching for those things. I've had a lot of people over the years who wanted to be my friend, or where it's like I saw into the future and like I could. It was easy. It's easy for me to see where something's gonna go and is it worth my commitment. And if they're not, if it's not, then it's like I politely decline that offer of friendship by just not hanging out with the people. But it's a good season of change. There's a lot of things that are happening right now that are testers for me from a financial standpoint. And I think I'm handling them. I think I'm handling them good. So yeah, it's. I guess to my original point, really try to have an open mind, and when you come into contact with people that have different views or stances on things, really try to resist the urge to look at them in a hateful way or react by discrediting their intelligence, and try to think of it from a stance of why do you think like that? And better than trying to think of it from that stance, address it and ask them like, yeah, but why? Because to me, the facts are what matters. So you might feel this way, but it's like, show me how that's evident. Show me how what supports that view. Because like I said, the one friendship that I had, she ended our friendship, and it was some painful texts that she sent my way, but it didn't really hurt because yeah, they were offensive. But I viewed it as, well, if you really think that I'm that person, I'm this disgusting or whatever because of how I think, then yeah, it's probably as good that you take me out of your life as a friend, because it's not healthy for me if I have a friend that thinks that I'm like the person that she described. So, but I didn't react in a meaningful way. It was just like, if anything, I ended the conversation because this was in text. Just like, you're one of the smartest people that I know, and I'm in agreement with the fact that you need to end this, because yeah, it's one of those people who's not capable of having that discussion, and it's unfortunate. But see, that was a whole friendship that I guess you never really knew until certain topics come up, and that was their reaction to it. That's how serious the topic is. If that hadn't come up, everything would have been great. And so that's why I don't think that it's that important. It's nice. It's nice when you're with somebody and you guys have similar beliefs and everything, but it's all very situational, and that's what it's really dependent on. It's like, to what degree is the thing that we're talking about? Is it gonna result in the way you raise your kids? Yeah, then that's important. Do we have the same understanding that we both want kids? All those things, like, those are important topics that you should be on point with. But there's plenty of things that you can disagree with, and just know that that's the border where it's like, you don't have a passport to come through and talk about that with me. Sorry. That's it. And for now, I'm gonna continue on this journey of working on my house, working on myself, trying to learn more. And there's some things that you can only gain from time, like wisdom. So I like to think that I gain a little wisdom every year. Sometimes it's just a little, but I think I'm gaining it. But Hemsley, shout out to you. That is Hemsley Perez. That is one of my good friends. One of my last remaining like really good friendships. So, because I'm a very selective person when it comes to the people that I'll allow in my life, whether it be the person I'm dating or the people I'm friends with, because a real friendship to me, like that's family. A real good friend, that's a brother. Like that's how deep that bond is to me. And then there's plenty of people who are really cool people. Like every time we chill, it's a good time. But they're more just acquaintances because that's the commitment that I see. It's like if they called me an emergency to come help them, would I? Probably not, because it's not. I'm not that invested. And there's a lot of ways that I view the world that are very contrary and different from the general public. And a lot of people listening to this, whether they want to admit it or not, are the general public. Um, I suggest, and I hesitate to tell anybody how they should live their life, but I really suggest that you try to take a third party perspective on the way you interact with people, period. Try to take yourself out of the equation. Like, I actually don't get that offended when people are insulting to me. When people insult my intelligence, that's when I really get offended. That's my ego coming into play. But people come at my intelligence or try to like undermine me, it's like, ugh. That's when you get me. But as far as like just general insults, I don't take it that personal. Like I'm kind of emotionless in that regard. I'm more curious and thinking, where are they coming from with this? Why are they acting like that? So, yeah, that's it. Back to work.